Hello, and welcome back to the Escape Podcast, where Discord won't let me open it until I restart my laptop, or my PC now. I'm the bro host.
Is this what's happening?
And he's the co-host. And let's jump right into our first topic. Bro, why you spend like 75% of your life on the toilet dropping a deuce? Let's talk about that.
That's an observation bias on your part.
Okay, defend that statement.
Okay, it has to do with the times that you call me, which are pooping times. And that's just how it is.
But then from that I can like deduce that all the time you don't spend eating or sleeping is pooping.
You can deduce?
Yeah.
I'm deducing, you know what I mean?
I know what you mean. Hello everyone, we're back. Come on, Jason, get hyped.
What's up?
Are you
Yes, I'm gonna apologize because my audio is gonna sound echoey probably.
It sounds really low quality from here.
Well, okay, so here's the problem. I have to record on my laptop, and my laptop has Bluetooth compatibility, except sometimes it decides not to work. So, I am Discord calling you on my phone right now, but I'm recording myself speaking with a microphone on my laptop. So you're hearing my AirPod microphone quality, which is not that good, but I am recording myself in high fidelity, blue snowball quality at the same time.
Yeah, everybody, welcome back to the next episode of our podcast, where we're actually keeping up with weekly uploads, hopefully. Back here where the more things change, the more they stay the same. And by that, I mean Jason is once again back in college. But this time, I have a PC and I have a microphone. So, I have the power to podcast remotely now. This is my life. This is your life. This is what we're doing. And I hope it sounds okay.
Here.
Yes. This is not another one-man podcast. Okay.
How's it going?
It's going good.
I hope you have topics, because
you don't have topics?
In case it wasn't clear, I just was called out of nowhere and quickly learned that apparently this is a podcast that we're doing.
That's a topic. So, this'll teach you. You're always surprising me with it. You're the one who wanted to make sure we kept the weekly uploads. I'm holding you to it. You better be prepared. You never know when I'm going to strike, man.
Okay. Well, that's fine. I'm just saying that I was, in fact, not prepared. I did not expect this. So therefore, I don't have topics. So I'm just saying.
Oh, real quick, how are we going to make sure our audio is synced? You want to go like wait, no. Because I'm doing math in my head like right now.
3, 2, 1.
Well, no. But my clap will be delayed because you're hearing it.
Yeah, but it'll be close enough though.
Okay. 3, 2. You do it? How are we going to... After one or on one?
3, after one. Like 3, 2, 1, clap.
Got it. Got it.
Okay.
Are you going to say it? Yes.
3, 2, 1. You didn't clap. I didn't hear a clap.
I heard a clap. I'm sure my microphone got it.
Okay. Discord cuts out claps sometimes.
Okay, no, but this is actually perfect because you do have topics and you just don't know about it, because I literally, the entire last episode of the podcast, I did not give you a chance to talk about Portal or Pikmin 4. Beyond just like casually bringing them up over and over again.
Well, I don't know if those are... I mean, that's about the extent that I felt was necessary to talk about them.
You don't want to talk anymore about Pikmin 4? Dude, I want to do like a full...
That's what I'm saying. I feel like if I was the kind of person who made full review videos on games, then I would. But not on a podcast. It doesn't seem like podcast material to go in depth on Pikmin 4. We can talk about it more if you want to.
Oh yeah, well I didn't mean like a full review, but like cover all the bases we had. Because here's the thing, I have not played Pikmin 4 nearly as much as you have. But I want to know.
That's the problem.
So I almost want to raise. I want to talk about it, and I want you, with your full knowledge of 100% of the game, to tell me how valid my arguments are. You already know that I'm going to start with negative aspects, because there are way more positive things to say. Because right off the bat, I did not like the music. Does the music get any better? It seems way too atmospheric to me. I can't remember any of the music off the top of my head. None of it is catchy.
There is about... Okay, so there's 2 tracks that I like. One that you haven't encountered yet, and another one which is the Dandori battle menu select music.
Yes.
Those are the 2 tracks, and both of them are like menu selection interfaces is when those play. So basically there's no point throughout the game in which the music of the atmosphere music is actually music. It's much more ambient in this game.
Yeah, I don't like that. Pikmin 1
and that
2
stays
were
consistent
so
throughout most of it. There's a few caves. There's a few sub-levels in some caves. Minor spoiler, but there's a few sub-levels in caves that are sort of in Pikmin 2 when there'd be sort of resting point sub-levels where they'd give you nectar and stuff. Yeah. And there's a few of those in Pikmin 4, and they play gentle music, akin to Pikmin 2 music.
That's nice.
And there's a few cave sub-levels that had music that I could actually hear music, versus a lot of them just sound like completely nothing.
Dude.
So I would say it's maybe slightly better than where you're at, but yeah, it's definitely, the music is a very different direction.
Yeah,
Pikmin, and it is like you said, it's just ambient. There's Pikmin not a lot 3. Of the classic Pikmin stand in your face music.
Pikmin 3 had a bit of that problem, but it still had some memorable tracks, even if most of them were in the mission mode and stuff. But somewhere between Pikmin 2 and Pikmin 4, it fully transformed almost entirely ambient music. And I do not know why they are so scared of melodic music. We're not gonna get any more doings,
Yeah. No more doings.
The really cool instrumentation too. There was a ton of really obscure instrumentation in Pikmin 1 and 2. And then again, starting with Pikmin 3 and especially in Pikmin 4, it's just a few notes on the piano here every now and then. Even the title screen is just it's all piano. It's just a guy playing piano. And it's a pretty tune. It's probably one of the only ones that I can sort of remember, that is sort of memorable.
Sounds like some post-credits something.
It kind of does, yeah.
It's so... I feel okay, here's my problem with the title screen music. It feels like it's like a lullaby. It feels like it's putting you to bed. And I feel like the title screen music should hype you up for the adventure you're about to get into.
I think...
Which is what Pikmin 1 and Pikmin do. Their title music is almost it's sort of mysterious sounding.
Yes.
It draws you into the game. And it gets you excited to explore. But the Pikmin 4 is hey, look, it's Pikmin 4.
Isn't it beautiful?
It's nap time.
What I think is this, because I'm pretty sure that this is the same reason they made Hey Pikmin. Not the exact same reason, but I'll explain. Is they've been trying every angle they can to make Pikmin marketable so that people actually get it and get interested into it, because it has been struggling to do so since its creation. And I think Hey Pikmin was a direction to make it really mainstream, almost Mario-ize it, turn it into a 2D platformer on handheld and make it more appealing to a general audience. But the game wasn't very good. It was based off of a property that not many people knew already, so it did not pick up steam. Now I think with Pikmin 4, they're saying, okay, we'll make the game genuine, but let's try and not market it so much as a strictly like action adventure style game, and especially not as like a real-time strategy game, like right off the gates, because that's like a very skill-intensive sort of genre. So they're almost trying to like Animal Crossing eyes it now and just make it seem like, look at relaxing nature. Isn't it beautiful? Don't you want to play? And then they're
definitely trying to make it very like cutesy.
Yeah, that way you get the older audience, the younger audience, the female audience, statistically speaking, what you expect that to look like.
The problem, though, is that, like, Pikmin 1 and Pikmin 2, in my opinion, had their cutesy moments.
Yeah.
But, like, they're better when it's not all just cutesy.
Yeah, but they're worried that maybe that's the golden demographic they missed out on.
Yeah, I think they are missing out on that demographic, but it's like, at some point you have to just realize that you can't... Like, at some point, if you're just going to blend everything together, like you said, if you're just trying your hardest to get that demographic, you're just turning it into another something like Animal Crossing, like you said.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, the point of the game is that it's a different franchise and it appeals to different people. And if it truly can't make enough money to survive, then I mean, it's probably better to just take the L than turn it into something completely different. I mean, at that point, you might as well just make something different.
I mean, profit-wise, though...
I don't think they've gotten to that point, though. They're not, like, to the point where... or they haven't taken it far enough that, like, it is to that point. Like, yes, It is still profitable, and it's not like it's not Pikmin anymore. But it is less Pikmin.
And that is what I was going to say.
It's less like the original Pikmin.
Yeah. I was going to say, what little change they have made now in that direction... they can arguably justify, and hopefully that means they won't push even farther in that direction in the future. Because obviously this is, from what I can tell, the most popular Pikmin has ever been. Definitely. Dude, we never talked about all the crazy stuff that Pikmin fans were doing. Did you ever look into, I told you about, they took over like the Times Square big screen thing, and they were like posting like dank Pikmin memes to advertise the game. Honestly, I hope that's what Nintendo takes away from this, is that the fan base saved this game. They probably were the biggest advertising that they could do for this.
Yeah, that's true. And that's because they appealed to the fan base in a lot of ways. Like they had a lot of appeals to the older games in terms of references to characters and whatnot. Less so in like the gameplay. But I think they... Like, compared to Hey Pikmin, like you said, I think with Pikmin 4, they promised something, or they seemed to promise something that was a lot more of a callback to the original Pikmin.
It feels very...
what got them excited.
The game feels very everyone is here-esque. I think I said that before.
It is definitely.
I mean, right off the bat, every Pikmin is back, except Bulbmin. And unless I haven't gotten that far, don't spoil it. Don't spoil the Bulbmin.
Well, Bulbmin are basically glow Pikmin, so I'll just count it.
Yeah, kind of. I think I've even heard, like, dude, Pikmin theories are back. People are theorizing. I think I heard somebody theorizing that glow Pikmin are literally just non-hosting, like, Bulbmin. Like, they haven't found a host. You know what I mean?
You know what I think about that?
What do you think?
People can come up with theories for anything, and you could just argue that that's true, and there's not enough material in the game to prove or disprove that. So you can believe what you want to.
Honestly, yeah, that's true for a lot of like game theories, and especially Nintendo game theories in general. But I was going to say, speaking of the fan base and callbacks and references, this is because of the way the music is, and this is my final statement on the music. This is the only time that I've ever felt like pandered to by a callback, because like people talk, I've heard some people talk about like, oh, every new Mario game's got to have some like hidden 8-bit Mario somewhere. They got to play the Mario theme, do. And I'm like, well, yeah, but it's fun. I like it. It's like, it's just a cool little callback, and it never seems intrusive. The only time I've ever felt like that now is in Pikmin, when they make an obvious callback to something in Pikmin 1 or 2, because they'll use like, it'll just be so obvious and out of nowhere, especially because of the music. Like, I go through these caves and they're nothing but like ambiance and slight like little musical interludes. And then I get to the giant bread bug, and suddenly the it's gone full melodic because they brought back the giant bread bug theme from Pikmin 2. And I'm like, oh, now you're not afraid of music. Like, it slaps me in the face with reference,
Well, my favorite callback, yeah. I do think that's true in a lot of cases, not just the music. My favorite callback, though, that I don't think is too extreme or like pandering, is I said this to you, but it's that they brought back the sort of like kind of like ambient. What's the term? It plays when in Pikmin 2 when you like discover something and you can use the stick to like rotate and look at it, and they brought that music back.
I love
Pikmin 4. And they also brought back the mechanic of being able to rotate and look at the object, which is from Pikmin 2.
Yeah.
Which is kind of funny because it's not a very useful thing, but
I like a lot of the mechanics that they brought back, and the sound effects definitely are a welcome comeback. They just fit so well for each of the actions. Now I've forgotten what I was going to say. Oh well. Fill the lull, Jason.
About Pikmin 4, or are we moving to something else?
No, I have a little bit more to say about Pikmin real quick. At first I didn't like the level design, but it grew on me. I think the level design is just a little bit too like it looks too geometric and like man-made. Like some areas, like it's just a straight path to like a rounded off area. Instead of like feeling like you're actually walking around in like a nature area, and there are like tree trunks sitting up everywhere. There's like dirt piles. There's like sort of atypical geography. And I also felt like it was just like a mess of like crossing over paths at the start of a lot of levels. And that is something that I've seen recurring, and I don't know how much it changes because like I said, I haven't been through the whole game. But I think it's just sort of an unfortunate side effect of the more like large-scale branching path level structures. You have to start off and there's just a bunch of paths to different areas for you to go. And it makes the start area seem almost like a little hub that just branches out to the actual interesting zones. Like the one beach area with its like oceany section and then its secret little alcove in the back. But to get there, you're just like crossing through a bunch of generic sand patches. So I don't know if they could have done that any better, but at first it did leave me a little underwhelmed in terms of the level design and structure. Other than that, well, actually, I want to know how much you think that holds up before I go on to my last little bit of information.
I don't know to what extent I agree with that. I also...
Yeah, it's probably not something most people would notice.
I feel like I don't remember the level design of the previous Pikmin games enough to compare it.
I definitely do.
It's definitely
I've got
very
a map
different
in my head.
Because you can move bases. That changes the level design a lot.
Oh, by the way,
but I don't. Your point was that the environment seems generic.
Yeah, a little bit too biotic looking.
And is that because to get between different places, because you have like these different bases, there's like, it feels more like open world, that there's more paths you can take, or like a more open path to get between places?
They had to fit in like a bunch of like generic path structures and a bunch of generic like almost room structures in order to compensate for the connecting of these various different sort of areas that you can explore in different orders or that are cut off by different means of progression, and had to make them sort of like generic and accommodating enough to fit in like base areas in more than one place.
I don't think I agree with that, or at least not the like reason that you're proposing of why that maybe is the case. I think my only problem with the level design, which is a broader problem or a broader critique that I have with the whole game, is just that it's too easy for me.
That is true.
But the level design to me maybe feels too open, but just like in the sense that like it feels like there's less. It didn't feel like, and especially with all the talk about Dan Dory, it doesn't feel like as much compared to previous games of like walls to break down and paths to clear kind of thing. Yeah. And it feels like with a lot of the enemies, it's like you don't really have to kill the enemies to get through an area. Honestly,
yeah, that's why I said it feels kind of like empty and straightforward in some places.
So it feels like there's I think that's just a result of them trying to make the game more beginner friendly and easier.
Oh,
but it feels like there's less there's less actual paths to clear out compared to other games.
I love that you validated me.
Or it feels like easier to clear.
I love that you validated me also, though, when I started complaining about how the enemies just die forever and they never come back. So if you kill every enemy on a map, it's just a barren wasteland.
I've heard so many people complain about that. That's a big thing that people didn't like.
The other most common criticism, I didn't like the controls just because I prefer the new play control style for like Pikmin, like with the Wii remote and stuff. But I'm aware, and I told Jason about this, how the Joy-Cons aren't like as precise motion control detectors. Like they can't do pointer control as well. So I realized that wasn't completely feasible. And it took me a while to get used to the new controls, but I think they're pretty good, except the one other main complaint I hear most commonly from other people is the auto targeting system.
Which is also my only beef with it.
It's so hard to predict sometimes too. Like they'll prioritize like enemies sometimes so heavily over any other item that if you can see them on the camera, even if you're facing the opposite direction from them, you are locked onto that enemy.
And you can sometimes, when it locks onto something, you can walk like 20 feet away from it, and it is still begging and pleading to lock onto that.
Yeah, and the funny thing is, even if the auto target is right next to the other thing you want to target, they have the built-in motion controls where if you hold down A, you can redirect the cursor. But they like give you so little like leniency away from where they want you to throw it that sometimes even if it's right there, you can't change it enough to actually get to it.
Yeah, that's the problem. You can adjust your aim when it's locked onto something.
My chair is
but it's basically
so
it's essentially no more than changing like the angle that you're throwing at the same thing that it's locked onto.
Yeah, it's like, do you want to throw on the side of this thing or the front of this thing?
Yeah, it moves relative to the thing that it's locked onto, and it will not unlock from that thing while you're aiming, and it barely adjusts the aim off on that lock. So the problem is, like, I wish I could just, if it locks onto something incorrectly, or if there's a bunch of things next to each other and I just want to manually aim, I wish there was just a toggle to turn off the auto lock, at least temporarily. Just, okay, there's 3 things right now. I want to aim at specifically this one in the middle, and if it does the auto lock, it's going to be impossible to actually do that.
Yeah, and just like
now,
turn into basically like pure
thing.
GameCube controls, right? Like
exactly. And they have sort of, in my opinion, sort of cumbersome way to talk to like you can loop through the different targets that are within your range.
I feel like there's a lot of people who complain about that who completely miss that and don't even know you can do that.
Well,
I forgot about it for the longest time.
But it's I've tried it and it's still to me it's just not, it doesn't feel
it's
right.
Fine when there's maybe only a few
difficult.
targets, but then when there's too many, it's like the same problem we had in Mario Strikers where it never switches to what you want it to. And then you're switching so many times you cycle past it.
I wish I could just be like, okay,
why don't you just let me choose? I actually knocked my headphones off. Okay, say everything again.
I wish it was just like, okay, why don't you just let me choose? Like, just let me just manually aim at the
Which
thing.
is why I liked the new play control.
And it's crazy that there's no way. They have no option to do that, to just disable the auto lock.
But yeah.
Even temporarily.
I kind of got used to the manual, like, relock thing, the ZR. I just sort of started thinking of it as, like, targeting an enemy in Zelda, you know?
I also think it would be easier if it weren't so unbelievably... what's the word? It's just so generous with the range of locking.
Oh yeah, that's why I said it's like if you
the second you even start to turn towards something, boom, you're locked on, and then it's like glue. You're stuck to it. I at least wish. And again, this is something that, like, I'm going to be honest. If this was a PC game, these are the kind of settings that they just put in the controls. They make a lot more stuff customizable. If this was a PC game, it would be awesome. Well, I mean, this would be awesome. But I could imagine this happening if it was a PC game. If they had a setting, A, to toggle on or off the auto lock, and B, a setting for like what range you want to have it start locking onto things. So you can make it, because I would have preferred it to, I like the lock, especially, you don't want to have like a shaky hands moment and be throwing stuff all over the place. But I would prefer if it was just like much more precise, because also that's a way of adding a little bit more difficulty for me as somebody who thought it was too easy well, I get some of that added difficulty back of actually aiming the Pikmin, which I do think is a difficulty that, like, it makes sense to have. It makes sense to have aiming be part of the difficulty.
Yeah, literally, there's no challenge. You always throw everything dead on target now. Like, you never miss a Pikmin at a target. It's crazy. And I appreciate how smart some of the game is in terms of its expected input override. Like how you can always throw the exact number onto something. But then it's annoying when you want to throw a little bit over because you want them to
throw
carry
more,
fast.
and then it stops, right?
And it's like when you have like a pile of the raw material, you can always throw the right number and all that stuff. But it's like let me do stupid stuff or what you think is stupid stuff if I want. It's my game. Input is the name of the game. That's what makes it a game. It's interactive.
Right. It's a lot of good features that I think they just needed to not make mandatory all the time. It's lots of good features, good convenience features that could be really useful. I mean, are really useful, but like sometimes you wouldn't want them. And it's not good design that they made it so strictly that like those features are always on and always active.
Yeah. But
and that's also especially true like for the Dandori battles in multiplayer. If you're playing the versus Dandori mode, which they thought was important and fun enough to make it its own mode.
Dude, I love the Dandori mode. But that might be my favorite part of the game.
In those Dandori battles, I'm going to get real mad if I'm playing against you, for example. And the reason that I start losing is because I'm like trying to send extra Pikmin on something so it gets back to my onion in time before you steal it or whatever.
I like
and
this
then it's like, nope, you can only
throw
7.
Where I'm losing in a Dandori battle, or you're losing in a Dandori battle to me.
I know, right? It would never happen.
Hypothetically.
But like, those are supposed to be like where your skill can really shine. And you're supposed to be like really, really, basically it's like you know what you're doing. So then why is the game still limiting me in what I want to do?
Yeah.
You know? Like, I miss having to count how many Pikmin I'm throwing so that I can actually budget them exactly how I want to.
It's actually really hard because the sound of the Pikmin throws you off. Like, sometimes they'll let out, like, a single-syllable cry, and sometimes they'll let out a double-syllable cry, and your brain will want to think that's the number of Pikmin you threw, you know?
Yeah. And that's what, it was a really fun challenge.
It's a very obscure challenge.
I remember us playing the mission modes, and I got so good at being able to count how many Pikmin I threw.
While still throwing
at full speed. The trick is just to completely disassociate with the game's visual and audio, because it will just mess you up. You just have to count your button presses.
Exactly.
But it's a challenge for sure.
Pikmin, but with the old control scheme, there was so many like micro challenges in the game that I feel like now are just gone. That was also
and
I feel like
that I
Ochi
didn't
made
think were like
a little too easy
like
too, getting the automatic starting damage and like making it way easier to rush enemies.
Yeah, Ochi is a massive, massive crutch to pretty much everything in the game, but especially enemy fights.
Yeah. That's why I love at least some bosses that require Pikmin throwing classically and specifically. Like the big scorpion dude where you have to throw them on his back and you can't really tackle him with Ochi.
The biggest crutch, though, with that is the fact that all 100 Pikmin can ride Ochi's back.
Oh, yeah. Because that was the hardest thing.
And so bosses like the Man at Legs.
Man at Legs and the Snagret.
The whole hard thing to do is manage your Pikmin, especially if they're leaves staggering behind you. Yeah. They're going to get picked off really easily. Now you can just ride on Ochi. And that's the other thing, and that I heard somebody criticize, is that it makes Nectar kind of pointless in this game for 2 reasons. A, who cares about slow Pikmin if they can just ride Ochi? But B, Spicy Spray is so easy to get in the game, and one Spicy Spray instantly makes all of your Pikmin flowers.
And Ochi. So even if they're not with you, which didn't used to be the case, right?
Yeah, anywhere on the map. Yeah, correct.
How does that work? Like, logically, there's no explanation.
It doesn't. Which is another stupid thing, but
imagine you these are like minor things. The sky. It's like that thing from the Amazing Spider-Man.
But overall, I would say my only beef with the game, because there's so much content. It's such a packed game. It's the longest Pikmin game,
and it's so non-linear too. We kept joking about how like every copy is personalized. Like, I found my rock Pikmin here, and it's like, you found rock Pikmin? I found my blue Pikmin here, and I was like, what? I didn't even find them in the same place. Wait, did you
getting the blue onion without blue Pikmin in the first area, which is definitely not what you're supposed to do, but I did it anyways.
It's so crazy. We were talking to each other about our experiences, and we were like starting to feel like we were playing two separate games. It's that insane.
But yeah, my main beef is just the difficulty, which I feel like for beginners, I think they hit the sweet spot, the perfect difficulty probably. Like I can imagine my girlfriend playing it, having no previous experience with Pikmin, and being able to get through the game, but it being like about as challenging as it was for me to play Pikmin the first time, you know?
Yeah. But
which is like a good amount of challenge. But for me, then it's like with no customization on the difficulty level, no difficulty options or anything like that. The game the whole way through pretty much feels too easy.
Yeah, and because that was another micro challenge that you mentioned back there, is I always felt like the give and take in Pikmin 1 and 2 and 3, all of them, just anyone where there is an Ochi, is that you're more powerful the more Pikmin you have. But it's like an increased hitbox because they're all spread out and all over the place. But now with Ochi, it's just like they're all condensed into one Pikmin. And then you just have like ammunition. Right. Ochi's just a Pikmin gun.
And I personally don't feel like any of those micro challenges were like bad design.
Yeah.
Bad user experience or like the result of bad user
The problem is what was
design.
Bad was
they were like genuine, and they feel like real, like they feel like realistic challenges, you know?
I think,
like it makes sense that if you have that big of an army that it's going to be harder to manage them all. That's like a realistic, so to speak, a realistic Dandori issue. So
Yeah. I think the reason why some people would see them as issues in and of themselves, though, and maybe Nintendo did too, maybe that's why they made these decisions, is because as you go further back in the Pikmin timeline, the Pikmin AI gets worse and worse, and these micro challenges exaggerate just how bad the AI already is. Like when your Pikmin are all tripping over and like not standing where you expect them to in that giant group, it's even harder to like treat it as like just a expanded hitbox, and it more just feels like a bunch of RNG. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, but then that's kind of sad.
I mean, there's luck involved in Dandori as well. And that's even a quote from Pikmin 4.
Or the mysterious bushel guy. I mean. Dude, do they even give him a name? I feel like they're just like, the guy with the leaf and the big nose.
No, I don't know if you've seen, but Ochi, you can have a command for Ochi to sniff out what they call that leafling.
That leafling.
Which is the Olimar leafling.
That's
they
hilarious.
call him, so the canonical name is that leafling.
Dude, I've been avoiding the Pikmin wiki, even though I want to look up stuff like that, but I've been avoiding it ever since, because Pikmin 3, I once went on the Pikmin Wikipedia while I was still playing Pikmin 3 way back in the day, and I clicked random page, and it took me to the final boss. Do you remember that story?
Yeah. Yeah, I would recommend not looking at any pages on Pikmin 4. And I've been avoiding probably not a single one doesn't have spoilers for like the post-game stuff.
But I think a good summation of like the niche that Pikmin 4 fills is what a lot of people have been saying, which is like Pikmin 3 is like Pikmin 1, 2, and Pikmin 2 is like, or sorry, Pikmin 4 is like Pikmin 2, 2, you know?
Yeah.
And it's interesting though, because really, it's Pikmin 2 is Pikmin 1, 2. And Pikmin 3 is Pikmin 1, 2, 2. And Pikmin 4 is Pikmin 1, 3? I'm trying to explain the chronology. Because there's a branching storyline now. Because they're retelling Olimar's story. And in Pikmin 2, it's presumed Olimar makes it off the planet safe. Pikmin 3 is the continuation of Olimar making it off the planet safe. Pikmin 4 is a new branching path here, where
a new retcon where Olimar in Pikmin 1 already knew about Ice Pikmin and Winged Pikmin and Rock Pikmin.
But it's actually really cool. We were talking about how, sometimes it's annoying when they just retell the same story over and over again. But Pikmin's alternate endings are actually really compelling. And the ideas presented in this game are really cool, and I actually like this alternate storyline as a possibility. I think...
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Speaking of theories...
I think it gets even slightly better when you finish the game. So you should do that, Jonathan. Everybody comment below.
Yes,
hey, Jonathan, finish the game. Hey, Jonathan, you have Jason's Switch right now. He didn't bring it to school explicitly so that you could finish the game.
Yes.
So, hey, Jonathan, finish the game. Have you played it at all this weekend?
I've been playing Splatoon 3.
Get out of here.
I've been playing Splatoon 3
No,
because
that's acceptable. That's acceptable.
the final Splatfest is already upon us. They're doing Fry versus Shiver versus Big Man. They're actually doing it. They haven't called it the final, I don't think, but they're doing it.
Splatoon 4 already? That'd be kind of funny, actually.
The DLC's on the way still, actually, so this probably isn't the final Splatfest, but it's to celebrate like the 1-year anniversary of the game or something. Has it already been just 1 year like that? I'm trying to... No, I remember. It was late summer that it came out. That fits. That chronology fits. But yeah, dude, and I'm so terrible at Splatoon 3. Because I haven't played in so long enough, and everyone I'm pitted against is skilled because the game's been out so long now. I hate games that punish you for not playing them right away, and then they lose their return value. You have to
just play ranked.
Play what? Ranked?
Play ranked game modes, and then you'll be with other doo-doo heads, stinky doo-doo farts.
Well, don't they still try and pair you with people of a similar skill level in Turf War?
I don't think there's any, consideration into the matchmaking in regular Turf War. I think it's completely
I'll look into that then. I want to get at least...
Because that's why I always played ranked when I played Splatoon.
I literally don't.
I always played ranked.
I played for at least an hour and then some yesterday, and that was my first time playing. I did not win a single match, bro. It was so depressing. But speaking of depressing, yeah, it's hard for me to justify playing games.
When I'm making Chicola Cola. So depressing.
Soda pressing?
Yeah. I was imagining, pressing the Chicola beans.
That's funny, but it's also funny in an ironic way, because Chicola Cola should be the least depressing thing ever, because you have to tell it jokes and make it laugh.
Right. Speaking of which, our Mario celebration this year is going to be grander than ever, and we're going to live stream it.
No way.
So that all of you can join in.
Why are you dropping this now? It's a way away. It's like half a year away.
Well, I just want them to know in advance, because we're going to have to be on the low about it until after this point, because otherwise we're going to get a preemptive DMCA strike for streaming the Mario movie.
Dude, we got to make this cool. We got to do I can't remember the names of anyone, even screen names, but the guy who I said who speed ran all the Mario games, we got to do that. We got to have a gameplay marathon with the movie spliced in between. It's got to be a whole 24/7 programming. Look what you've done. You've gotten me excited now, and now I'm above your expectations. You thought your expectations were high. Now I'm dragging. You through
now that we have experience from doing it last year, I'm sure this year we could do something a lot.
Yeah, true. It was so last minute. Anyways, speaking of Mario, we know the real biggest news that has happened since this podcast.
Donald Trump's mugshot.
Oh, yeah, no, you were telling me that. That was so funny. That is actually the coolest thing. I wish I had thought of that.
Dude, I open.
They don't know what we're talking
Instagram.
about, though. Or are you going to share now?
Well, let me. I'm preluding it. I open Instagram and look at the Explore page, and I'm not even joking. 50% or more of the images are Donald Trump's mugshot. This might be the most widespread meme I've ever witnessed in my life. Seriously, this might be a record-breaking meme in terms of how widespread it is.
That's interesting.
Memes almost every meme I see is Donald Trump's mugshot.
It would be interesting to know.
It's completely empirical, but I feel like what I'm saying is true.
You're that confident. What I was referring specifically to was what you told me right before we started.
The Face Raiders.
Yes, the Face Raiders. The Face Raiders for 3DS. You guys got to remember it. I said that is here. It's right here in the chat. I said it was a genuinely novel and nostalgic memery right there. That's just so funny that somebody immediately... That's what we're talking about, the synapse connection. They thought Face Raiders.
I've seen a few Face Raider memes before, but this one is probably the funniest.
I love it. It's the most apt. It's the most fitting.
It's perfectly fitting for the situation.
It's literally Nintendo made that game with future knowledge all the way back then, knowing this would happen. But no.
But yeah, I'm just seeing here. Actually, let's do a live experiment.
Oh, really?
I'm gonna open Instagram, refresh the Explore page, and I'm gonna read you.
Yeah, I don't have Instagram.
Wow. Okay, I only got one on that refresh, and it was a Photoshop screenshot of Five Nights at Freddy's, and in one of the cameras they put Donald Trump's mugshot.
It's just gonna become like a Where's Waldo. They're just gonna hide it in everything. That would be hilarious, actually.
Okay, I got one that says, "Sorry guys, I can't hop on Minecraft tonight," and it's Donald Trump's mugshot.
Dude, oh my goodness, how is this going to affect the AI president conversations?
Okay, I found one that somebody photoshopped. That somebody said I tried to face swap Obama onto the Trump mugshot.
What?
Anyways,
I can't imagine.
Okay,
that
here's
looked
two
very,
more. He thought school was for one day only. He mad, and then it's Donald Trump's mugshot.
That's funny.
Oh, this is my favorite one that I've seen so far. I've seen this one. The Onceler. Hey, what if I cut down these trees to make my needs? The Lorax, and then it's Donald Trump's mugshot.
Just absurdism. Every time I laugh,
do you not get it? The Lorax is orange with a white tuft of hair.
Oh my goodness, you're right. I didn't even think
about it.
Dude, that's like semi-absurdism. That's like you have one connection there. But no.
Yep.
What I was obviously going to say, and I think you just...
In Jonathan's little fairy tale world, the biggest news happening right now is Charles Martinet resigning.
Well, I mean, recently.
Or being fired.
I know Trump is the biggest thing, but like... Well, actually, hold on. What is the chronology here? Charles Martinet is more recent.
Trump's mugshot was after.
You said Charles mugshot?
Trump's mugshot was after Charles Martinet.
Okay. In my head, for some reason, that was backwards. But no, I mean, definitely across the Nintendo world, and honestly just across the media fan in general world, Charles Martinet retiring is a pretty big thing.
Yes.
I mean, it's an objectively big thing for like
the world as a whole. And we talked about it on the podcast, and now it came true.
Yeah, I didn't want it to be true.
See, we're the front runners on the news.
But dude,
that's how good we are.
It's
this
crazy.
Is journalism.
There's like a holy trinity of people who said that they could see themselves doing their job at Nintendo forever. Reggie Fils-Aimé, Charles Martinet, and Shigeru Miyamoto all said they love their job and they could never imagine retiring. Then Reggie Fils-Aimé retires, and now Charles Martinet, Shigeru Miyamoto is next. Dude.
I mean, honestly, he might be. He's not been producing nearly as many games.
Dude, honestly, he's already
He's more of just like a
he's the ambassador, just like Martinet. He's going to become the Nintendo ambassador. But
yeah, honestly,
it's wild because
we're probably entering a new era of Nintendo.
Yeah, I know,
and especially like Mario.
I think the biggest question is
Miyamoto and Martinet were involved with, which makes me slightly more worried now about Super Mario Wonder and also Super Mario RPG Remake.
Well,
because it's like, does that game have Martinet voice lines in it? Are they all going to be reused voice lines, or are they going to be?
This might answer the question though of why there's been so much reused voice lines in Mario games recently, because Martinet's essentially been like being fizzled out, and so they didn't want to like get him in to record new voice lines or anything. Like in Strikers.
Maybe.
But I think the new guy. My main problem is it sounds like Mario. It just doesn't sound like Mario's inflection. Like I told you, the big wonderful line. He did not sound Italian. He sounded like Irish. He sounded like Lucky the Leprechaun, I said.
Yeah. Well, I hate that line so much. I've been listening to it over
But
and
it doesn't
over.
not sound like Mario's voice.
Wonderful. Wonderful. He doesn't say an R. That's the problem. He doesn't say wonderful. He says wonderful.
Maybe they're going for a Brooklyn accent. It's wonderful. Yo, what if Mario's officially Brooklyn now?
I don't.
Full Brooklyn.
The weird. Well, here's the thing that I think is weird. I'm wondering now if this means that they are not going to reuse any old Mario voice lines from their entire built-up library of Charles Martinet.
Well,
if they want to keep it consistent with the new voice actor, if they're going to go only
no, they
new
definitely
lines.
are going to reuse old Charles Martinet. Let me tell you why. Because they reused old Bowser in the Mario movie, even though it sounds nothing like Jack Black. Did you hear that? They use Bowser sound clips from the actual voice actor in the movie.
I didn't notice, I didn't think about it.
There was some other...
I think that's not
Toad
quite
or someone
proof,
they
though,
reused
that they
too?
would... I don't think them doing that in the movie is proof that they would do that in games going
Feels
forward.
like it to me. I mean, if they're willing to be that...
the movie's very different from games.
Well, true.
They made a whole big public... And also the situation you're describing is way different. they've made a big announcement about Charles Martinet stepping down and no longer being the voice of Mario.
Oh yeah, and
so
we're
I'm
still
wondering
awaiting
now
on like that video.
If this means that they're, because to me it would make sense that they wouldn't want to use old voice clips just because it's going to be weird now. It's like, especially because he's not even actively doing lines, but they're still using his work. I mean, obviously, I know that means he's still going to make money.
But dude, some of them are
off of it, but
so iconic. Like, imagine Mario's never going to have the same "Let's A Go" ever again.
That's what I'm saying. That's the scary part, because those are classic voice lines.
But I think the big questions here.
Look, I see a car right now that has one of those turn signals that are red. You know what I'm talking about?
No.
So you know how generally traffic law, pretty much internationally, the standards that brake lights are red.
Oh yeah, no, I know what you mean.
Headlights are white, and blinker lights are headlights and taillights are white, and blinker lights are amber colored. The turn signals are amber colored, like the yellow color. But for some reason in North America, I learned this from a YouTube video. For some reason in North America,
they're just required to
especially
work.
The U.S.,
they're just required to be visible.
No, there's just an exception that the turn signals can be amber or they can be red. They can be the same color as the brake lights. And a lot of modern cars nowadays that you see will basically combine the brake lights and the turn signal.
Well,
so there's less bulbs on the back.
Yeah.
So there's no longer the amber, the red on top and the amber turn signal underneath. The brake light just blinks when it's turning. But then when you're sitting at a stoplight, you have one light. Like, let's say you're turning right. Your left light, your brake light, is going to be always on because you're sitting at a stoplight braking.
Yeah.
But then your right brake light won't be on.
Off and on.
Yeah, but it's
which is a bit confusing,
so dumb.
Because
it's
if you
so
look
unclear.
at it at just a glance, you can't immediately tell what it's conveying to you.
Exactly. You can't, because if you looked at one, the problem is you can't tell all the information you need to know from looking at one side of the car.
Exactly.
If you looked at just the right side of the car, you could think that they're not even braking.
And you can't tell within
if you looked at the other side of the car,
it's an animation. I mean, that's technically true for blinkers too, but there's less cases where it's true. Like if you took a picture,
and you can at least with the blinker, you can at least tell that no matter what that they are braking.
Yes.
Although there are some cars where they're not combined. There's still two separate bulbs, but the bulb is still red.
Yeah.
But then it's just like, why not make it a different color to distinguish?
Yeah.
That's just bad design 101.
Yeah. Have you seen the ones where it's like a dedicated animation, they scroll like little neon signs,
yes, on Ferraris.
Yeah, it's like those. Talk about being extra, man. Like you're just trying to get people to crash now. Like you're distracting me. I have ADHD. I can't be driving.
And you know what? A lot of those are red. Also,
yeah, exactly.
Those are usually share the brake lights.
It's okay.
But yeah, I just don't get it.
Elon Musk's future will all be driving.
If they are the same,
our cars will be driving us.
That's true. I guess you won't need to know.
Underground.
Actually, though, that's a good point. What if the car AI, self-driving AI, even struggles to know what the brake lights in front of them mean?
Oh, this is actually a good segue, though. This is an accidental good segue to a really obscure topic on my list of backup topics that I did not think I would bring up at all. Hold on. I can actually search it on my laptop now because I'm not using... I've got a dual screen setup here. Yeah. Have you heard this talk now about how they're saying they're trying to integrate flying cars?
Nope.
I have. And it's like there's some company out there that claims they've done it and they can make it affordable in a few years for everyone. But it'll never be safe because you can't make roads in the sky. People are going to crash and die.
Yeah.
But also, it's probably a huge scam. There is just scientifically no way that's feasible and affordable for the average person.
That's what I'm saying. There's no... I mean...
Unless,
if we had
unless they know something we
actual
don't.
Flying cars.
Because back in the day, automobiles weren't affordable either. This is going to be a shift in society. There's going to be an even bigger gap between the rich and the poor. Everyone's going to be either super...
The rich can fly.
Yes, the rich can fly, and the poor will just be living like worms under the dirt.
They're ground bound, and then we're gonna have altitudism.
Exactly.
Instead of classism, it's altitudism.
Oh my goodness, this classism, altitudism, all these...
Hey, well, I tell you what, right now I'm winning in terms of altitudism because I'm on the 5th floor of a dormitory
And you're
that's built
tall.
in the mountains. And I'm tall.
Yeah, oh my goodness, dude.
So if I stand up right now, I'm higher than a lot of people. I'm higher than probably like 80% of the whole Earth right now.
Dude.
That's not true.
But no, it reminds me of... I really wish I could remember when I read this, but it was like sometime I feel like early 2000s, I read like a newspaper article saying that like by 2010 maybe, that they were going to have not flying cars, air-powered cars. And I was like, in my head I was like, that's so cool. They said, like back then I believed everything if it was in the news. I figured it was a reputable source.
Yeah, I remember you telling me that.
And I was like, I've marked the date on my calendar.
It was in the news, Jason.
I've marked out the whole year on my calendar. I cannot wait till they have air-powered cars. And I didn't even, you didn't even hear about the CIA killing the guy who made the air-powered cars. They just never did.
I was about to say, that's the other thing, because I hear like every week about some new young scientist who's bioengineered a type of bacteria that can eat plastic, and then
they die.
They magically you never hear about it again.
It's crazy. It's like we've crossed a barrier now where it's so easy. We have so much access to like technology and intelligence. Dude, I'm telling you, this is the next step for our political overlords. They're going to have to find some way to make everyone dumb. They're going to try and... Well, it's probably why they're funding education so little. But it's just too easy to become a genius and make something that makes all these manufactured problems that they rely on to keep themselves in inflated positions of power go away. And so then they have so many enemies now.
Yeah, why do you think the 3D printing community is so gatekept?
I know.
Because, like, you could like 3D print the plastic industry. Gone.
I know.
I mean, like the ones who are actually creating things out of plastic, because you could just print it yourself, or you could make your own molds and then cure the plastic yourself. But then they wouldn't be able to sell you.
Yes, exactly. And it's so easy now.
You can also make weapons with 3D printing. Like, given the right the right caliber of 3D printing technology, you can make a lot of things.
Almost any purely mechanical or mostly mechanical product, including weapons, will slowly become, in my prediction, something that is like the music industry became after people just started sharing songs online. It's just like too easy to essentially pirate, and they need to like come up with an alternative way to like make money off of it. But I don't know if there's a way we can feasibly do that. So for now, they're just gatekeeping 3D printing, and they're killing every smart person who tries to revolutionize the world.
Yeah,
but they're killing so many people.
Doing that. It's like websites where you have to pay for 3D models, for example.
This is going to become unignorable, though. You can't ignore now. This is too sus, Something's going on here. Too many scientists are dying.
Well, what were we even originally talking about?
Flying cars? Which you brought up because of the bizarre blinker colors that are allowed now and systems.
Right. And before that, we were talking about Charles Martinet.
Yeah, dude, you absolutely beheaded the Charles Martinet conversation.
I took us off on a flying car.
Well, I was thinking, though, of the flying cars, though. What is it? Oh, man. It reminded me of, oh, no, yes, I remember. So, do you remember when it was it 2015 or 16 that Back to the Future, they went to the future in the second one? And everyone was like, this is it. This is the year. We have to meet the standards of the movie. And everyone was like, we need the self-tying shoelaces. We need the hoverboards. And
and we need the Cubs to win
exactly. It was like a last-minute homework assignment for human culture. It was crazy. And the thing is, we turned it in a day late. Or the universal equivalent of that, a year late. The next year, the Cubs won the World Series. Some company made self-tying shoelaces that, like, barely functioned. We had hoverboards. And Donald Trump, who Biff the character is based off of, became president. It actually happened.
That's pretty funny. I never thought about the
Donald Trump. But did you hear the thing about recently? I think it was just last year. Canonically, George Jetson was born. From the Jetsons.
From the Jetsons, yes. which means what?
Which means
we need to go to space now.
Which means in the time that
we're going to start colonizing.
Which
space.
means in the time that it takes him to become an adult, and for the Jetsons to be a thing,
will have colonized
yes,
space.
and we need flying cars. So everyone's trying to get caught up to speed. This is future homework assignment number 2 now. This is what this is.
Dude, wait, okay. So we need to make a popular animated show or movie where we rule the world.
Yes! It's called Manifesting.
And then right,
hardcore high budget manifesting.
Oh shoot, they don't rule the world yet, and canonically this is when their movie said that they'd rule the world. It's time to lay down our arms and submit to them.
Yes, exactly. No, we are absolutely same brain right now. You figured it out. This is the plan. We got to work on this, bro. We got to get caught up.
Okay, sounds good.
Anyways, back to Charles.
Let me know how I can help.
Oh, bro, I will. One day. Eventually. But for now, back to Charles Martinet. I think the biggest questions for me is how many voice actors they're going to get. Because Charles Martinet did all those voices himself. Wario, Waluigi, Mario, Luigi, the whole gang.
I know, right? Do you think they'll have different voice actors now?
I feel like someone who can do a voice for Mario can probably do a voice for Luigi. I don't know if the average person... Well, definitely the average person can't do all 4, I don't think. But, dude...
Yeah, Wario and Waluigi are pretty distinct from each other and from Mario and Luigi.
What's really upsetting me, though, is that one voice clip that everyone said for Wario sounded different. That one, I said the Mario one. It sounds like Mario, but it doesn't sound like Charles Martinet's Mario. Like, the inflection is wrong. With the Wario one, I don't like anything about it. If that's the new Wario voice, and that clip is indicative of what it's going to sound like, I'm not happy. That's not my Wario.
I still haven't heard the clip, so I'm going to live in blissful ignorance for now.
You do that.
But that's pretty crazy how the theorists were actually right completely on that.
No, I know.
I actually didn't expect that to be the case.
Charles Martinet was sick that day or something, and they needed voice clips for the direct.
Well, again, I mean, it's not like my mind is blown. Like, I get it, and he deserves to retire or step down if he wants to.
That's the second biggest question, though, if he wants to. Because... This all seems very sus, again, because of the statement I made about how he said he never wanted to retire. He can't shut up about it. It's like Miyamoto talking about how the Pikmin are real. Charles Martinet can't stop talking about how he never wants to stop being Mario whenever he's in an interview or anything.
I'm going to bring this back from another podcast where I mentioned it. You remember when he was talking on Twitter with his voice actor buddies about how he was
sad.
They were talking about how he's going through a rough period.
Yeah, why would he be sad?
I thought it was about the Mario movie with how Chris Pratt is Mario.
Maybe it was though.
Oh, now I'm thinking it's probably I'm thinking the timeline probably matches up with when he would have first been in talks would have been starting about him stepping down from this position. So if it is an instance of he's being quote unquote let go, then that to me that kind of lines up with the timeline. So I'm starting to wonder if that's what it is. In which case that does then make me think that it's not something that he wanted to do. But then the question is just why?
Yeah, I know. What changed? What happened? How did he step on Nintendo's toes? Or do they?
Yeah.
Or have they just?
It's
or
weird.
have they just gone down a dark path themselves and?
That's what I'm saying. I think we're just in evil Nintendo timeline.
But that's funny because when we were on our direct discussion, we were like, "This is the bright side of Nintendo."
I know, but this changes everything.
I know.
That's what I'm saying.
Do you want to go into my backlog of podcast topics about how Nintendo's bad now?
What if Nintendo's turning into just mainstream pandering, and they're like, what if,
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. Are they going down a Chris Pratt route? But I was like, obviously this new voice actor isn't Chris Pratt. But you know what I don't like? We were talking about how I don't like, I think this was at the beach we were talking about this, how I don't really like any of the new voice actors for the WarioWare series. But they're all big names in the voice acting industry. And I was like, well, yeah, that's great, but I don't think most of them are a good fit for the characters. What if this is it? What if we find out this new Mario is some big shot in the voice acting world? And that's why they wanted it.
I doubt it.
You can never be bigger than Charles
Martinet. I bet if
Martinet.
He was, somebody would have somehow dug it up already and sleuthed out who it is.
Sleuthed it out from their LinkedIn page or something again, like they always do. But speaking of, like, you could never be bigger than Charles Martinet, though. Charles Martinet has an interesting sort of fame at this point because he's a voice actor, but he's famous for voicing almost entirely, well, not one person, but one specific role, that being all of the Mario and Mario Bros. For one series. And it's not a conventional voice acting role in that he's almost dedicated to vocal, like, sound effects. Like, because Mario does not have, like, full speech a lot of the time. And so I've always felt like he was underutilized for his full talent because he has a long history of voice acting. He can do all sorts of voices. He was in commercials and stuff. Mm-hmm.
He's in Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah, he's in, Skyrim? He does that deep dragon voice. And it's like, you would never guess that's the voice actor of Mario. He has so much range, and I feel like he was always underutilized as Mario. And I feel like maybe there's a point in an alternate Nintendo timeline where, while still playing the part of Mario, he could have... Because I've noticed his like impression for each of these characters has changed over time. He could maybe have like more inflectional like variants. Maybe do something a little bit more unique than just Yahoo and woohoo all the time. But now he won't because it's too late. That ship has sailed.
It's too late.
The Mario movie would have been like his last chance. I mean, we kind of got that. It was. I thought the full sentences Giuseppe said were like pretty indicative of what it would.
Yeah, I guess he did get technically a little bit of a last show in the Mario movie. That's probably the last time
But maybe this is his chance.
That is the most original content we've heard from Charles Martinet through a Nintendo published media in a long time.
But maybe this is his chance. Maybe now he's going to go big into voice acting in other places. Like maybe now he's going to be all over the place.
Well, I mean, he is.
Well, even more.
Again, like Dragon Ball Z and all those other things you mentioned, like he's pretty well off.
This is his
like
chance
I don't
for
think he's
people
going to
to
be
actually
struggling
know
for work
him
or anything.
and not just Mario. That could be interesting.
Maybe, but I wouldn't bet on that one.
But dude,
okay, this sounds like a nice wrapping up point.
Oh yeah, how long has it been? Wait, hold on.
Well, I've been recording for an hour, but Bella is calling me.
Oh snap!
And
girlfriend moment.
So
girlfriend
I may need
moment.
to at least take a break for a minute. I don't know how long of a podcast you want to do. But let's say it's been like
under
an hour
these circumstances, it makes sense to have a shorter one. I'm glad we got in something in there that wasn't all Nintendo. We talked Pikmin 4 and Mario, Charles Martinet, but we also talked a little bit of Trump and a little bit about the future.
Well, this is sort of a test run, I guess. A very spontaneous test run.
Yeah. Let us know what you think in the comments below.
Podcasting.
Comment below if you've ever commented below. What video was that from that you said that? I don't remember.
I don't know. But you know what? Nobody commented, which logically is a true statement.
Yeah, no, they misinterpreted.
Non-paradoxical.
We want you to comment below telling us if you've ever commented below. So if you never commented below, say, I've never commented below. This is a survey.
And then it's a paradox.
Yeah.
Then it's like the Pinocchio paradox thing.
Yeah. But the before is like a non-inclusive before. Like this is like stamp in the moment right now. Anything behind this. So if by miracle you comment.
So comment down below. I'll do you one better. Comment if you've ever liked a video before.
Any video. Ever. And if you haven't, now's your chance. Wink, wink.
Exactly. That's what I'm getting at. Like maybe you've never liked a video.
Man.
It's never too late to start.
How do you know?
Now.
Maybe it's. Have you ever subscribed? I haven't subscribed to him for the longest time. Maybe now is a good time to try. Try it out.
Yeah. Time to crack those knuckles and get to it.
Yeah, man. You can't put it off forever. Okay. See you guys next time on the Escape Podcast.
Did you? Oh, you did introduce yourself at the beginning.
Yeah, I did. You were just too awestruck.
I was frazzled.
And frazzled. Yes, absolutely. That is the word.
Well, I've been the bro. No.
I'm the bro host.
You start. And I'm the co-host.
And we will see you next time.
Evil Nintendo is coming for your Mario series.
Hide, the time has come. You can run.
And we will...
But you cannot hide. No, that conflicts with what I just said.
And we will see... And we will see
next time.
Next time.
Bye.
Bye.
What is this?
Well, I'm recording
Oh, you are?
myself.
What is
yeah,
this?
I've been recording
What is this?
myself.
Search for sound thing in the bottom corner. If I click on these sound effects,
It's
will you hear them?
soundboard.
Will you? You can't use this sound right now. You're not in the right channel. Man.
What Discord channel are you in that has sound effects?
The Slump Dump. Shout out to Slumpy5.
Yo, those are the sound effects that I added.
Oh, you added
well,
them?
some of them.
That explains why one of them is titled Yagadoo.